Good afternoon, everybody. It's Leon here from the British Chamber of Business Southern Africa, and I'm delighted to be hosting and interviewing Philippa Geard, CEO and owner and founder of RecruitMyMom.co. It's a really cool business, and we're going to talk to Philippa about her journey as an entrepreneur, how that's changed throughout this COVID context, and hopefully get to know her a little bit better. Philippa, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I believe you're in Somerset West today.
Oh, hi, Leon. It's lovely to chat to you. Yes, I am. I wish I could say it was a sunny Somerset West, but at least it's warm and we're enjoying the warmer weather in the Cape.
Yeah, no, we're in a grim grey Joburg at the moment. So before we talk about your business, I think it's always fascinating to understand somebody's journey. And I think a lot of times we're CEOs, people think we were born as CEOs, but they don't necessarily realize, particularly the younger generation, that we probably had to do a few more challenging jobs before we got to where we are right now. So maybe share with us some of the jobs you've done before, or some of the more challenging jobs that you did in your early career.
Okay, so probably one of the most challenging jobs one can do is that of waitering and waitressing. So I actually started out waitressing when I was at high school. I was trying to save money to get to the UK, and that was so I waitressed on the weekends. And I also worked in an Italian ice cream parlor, scooping ice cream, which was really good for the biceps, but not very good for the patience when you're dealing with very, very small children wanting whatever flavor they need. But I think that those experiences are really important because you learn to value what customer service means. You learn to value the importance of, just interacting with people and having good relationships, and when things go wrong, how to fix them on the spot. Think on your feet is probably one of those best things about working in that environment.
And it's a very immediate environment, the service industry. Your customers are in your face demanding what they want, and they want it now. I think it's a great learning experience. How's that? Have you found that a useful skill in your current role as a CEO and founder?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I often have this term with my staff, which is make it easy for people to do business with Recruit My Mom. So, find ways to make it work for our clients. And when we talk about our clients, it's both our clients and our candidates. And it's just this think on your feet, problem solve while you help the client to get to where they want to be, without obviously compromising too much on what we stand for, but just make it easy. And we do value that customer interaction and customer service. Professional service is actually one of our values now.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because often, you find if you're having a problem, and we won't name names, but with your cell phone, with your Wi-Fi, it becomes very difficult to solve that problem. And I agree with you. It's interesting. My son said to me the other day, "Dad, you really value customer service." And it's when a waiter or waitress goes that extra mile just to hear you resolve a problem, we really appreciate it. And I think sometimes we don't think that applies in the commercial world. You mentioned RecruitMyMom.co. It's a well-known brand. It's a famous brand. I see it online. I hear you on the radio. Tell us a bit about the idea, where it came from, and who you've become as an organization.
So Recruit My Mom was birthed out of a desire that I had to see women in South Africa, and particularly mothers, find a balance between enabling them to continue with their careers as well as balance their needs for family life. So a far more balanced work-life integration. And at the time, it was 2012 when I launched Recruit My Mom. There were no recruitment agencies, let alone platforms, that suited women, particularly who were looking for a more flexible way of working. And so the journey started with really wanting to go and educate employers about the fact that they could get these incredible skills and they didn't need them necessarily full-time in office, which at the time was quite a forward-thinking thought. And so that's how it started, was just there was a need. We have these incredible skills. South Africa is a country with great skills, but not necessarily an abundance of them. And so you were losing all these women out of the workplace. And I just felt that we needed a platform where employers could easily access them.
I remember when we first met, and it's something that's resonated with me from my own experiences as a leader of an organization, but as a father and balancing family life. And I think I told you, one of the most enlightened organizations I worked for was the British Army, that actually gave full maternity leave on full pay for up to a year. because they realized the importance of women in the workforce. And then when I came to the commercial world, it was almost, people weren't so supportive around paternity leave didn't exist. The maternity leave was something like, are you going to come back? When are you coming back? And what I found was, leading a commercial organization, when women came back from maternity leave, the more flexibility we gave, the higher their performance. And I thought I stumbled across this great secret. And I'm hoping now the rest of the workforce is catching up to say, give a working mum or a working dad something to do, they'll get it done, because parenthood in itself is such a challenging role. Do you feel South Africa is changing and being more open to flexible working environments?
Yes, is the short answer. Just to elaborate a bit on that, would be that if I look back to 2012 when we launched, and I'm going to just talk a little bit to pre-COVID and post-COVID, is that we were seeing a significant change in the way people were thinking right up until pre-COVID, with big organizations in South Africa implementing flexible work policies for women. And it was largely being driven by the gender diversity agenda, which is that there just aren't enough women in senior leadership positions. And how do you get them to senior leadership positions if they're leaving when they're at their child rearing ages? And so flexible work policy started to really come in pre-COVID, at the latter end of 2017, 18, 19 was really when we started seeing them coming in. But then COVID, and we'll talk about COVID, I'm sure, really has step changed employers' thinking on whether somebody actually needs to be in office at a desk working, or whether they can actually be anywhere remotely or in office and still produce the same, if not better, results. And I think from that point of view, I can honestly say, yes, we're starting to see mindsets change in this area.
And are you feeling that in terms of the demand for your offering at RecruitMyMom? Are organizations looking to partner with you more to fulfill those flexible requirements?
Yes, definitely. And we've definitely seen a shift. Pre-COVID, a lot of what we were placing was in office with degrees of flexibility, because we often say that flexibility is like a piece of string. It's a continuum, and somewhere along there you'll find a flexible balance between candidates and employer. But post-COVID, we've seen a lot more people recognizing that actually perhaps they don't need office space, and perhaps they actually can do with a remote workforce. And so we're starting to see a lot more roles being fully work from home as opposed to a hybrid of in-office and home. So those shifts are definitely taking place at the moment.
Now, a question to your leadership. I've had the privilege and pleasure of meeting your team, along with my colleague Cecilia. You've got a very dynamic, committed, engaged team. What is it that's driven that culture, and how would you describe it? How have you created that can-do environment in your organization?
Well, I think I'm very fortunate in that my workforce are all recruited through RecruitMyMom, and it's testimony to what I really believe about RecruitMyMom, which is when you hire a woman and you give her flexibility. I've got an entirely woman workforce. Is when you give them flexibility and purpose, they are then fully engaged in what it is that you're doing. And RecruitMyMom has got a very strong purpose in that we really assist clients to find top caliber skills in this more flexible way. We're impacting women socially in a massively positive way, which gives purpose to my staff. But equally, I have a remote workforce. Everybody works from various offices in South Africa and out of South Africa. And so that flexibility allows them to deliver when they need to, but also allow them to be involved in the work life, the non-work life that they're requiring. And so it is dynamic, it's very engaged, and they work very, very hard.
Yeah, no, they do. They're very committed, and also a fun bunch to work with as well.
Yes.
That's a great afternoon. Now, you're new to the British Chamber. We've been working with you for the last few months. It would be great to hear if and how we've added value to you, and what we can continue to do to support you growing and achieving your purpose.
Yeah, so it's been really good to be a very new member to the Chamber. And I've really seen the value in just engaging with yourself and Cecilia on seeking guidance for me as a CEO looking to branch into a new market, particularly being the UK. We have clients already in the UK starting to tap into our South African skills. And I needed to look outwardly in terms of how do I get more assistance in order to progress that or to have further business growth opportunities. And so I've just seen benefit in doing that. And just from your experience, the fact that you know the South African market, you know the UK market, and also looking forward to networking opportunities once the market opens up for us to be able to network. I foresee that there will be great growth opportunities for Recruit My Mom by engaging with yourself and the British Chamber, Leon.
Yeah, and we're really looking forward to those networking activities in Cape Town, but here in Joburg and also in London. And we're hoping in Q1 next year, we'll certainly start doing that again. So just heading towards the end of our session, I'd be really keen to explore two things, and without getting overly existential, but also being quite practical, I want to know, what is it that keeps you up at night? What do you worry about right now?
So right now, I do worry about our economy at large, just whether COVID is really negatively impacting us. And just when we think we're getting back on our feet, it feels like we're having our second wave. So we need our economy to start ticking over quite quickly. And that certainly does keep me awake at night. Personally, in terms of my business, I really am thinking about how to take this 100,000 workforce that I have as Recruit My Mom and allow them more opportunities to access meaningful employment. So how do I almost open up my wonderful database of skills to a greater proportion of people? So that keeps me up at night. And what was the second question, Leon?
And the second question is, conversely, what is it that gives you hope?
So I believe that there is a definite move that the silver lining on COVID for me has been that the education job around remote working has been done. There is no question anymore as to whether people can or cannot productively work from a remote environment. And I think that is massively positive, and that gives me enormous amount of hope for thousands, if not millions of women, not just in South Africa, but globally, who are really trying to juggle, and any parent who's trying to juggle work and parenting and everything else that goes with life. So that gives me hope. And then just regarding South Africa is that South Africans are extremely hardworking. They're resilient. And there are more good people in South Africa than bad. And I know that goodness, that inherent goodness that is in so many people in South Africa is what's going to pull us all through. And that gives me enormous hope. And I'm excited for the future of South Africa. I'm excited for where we will go and what we can offer, not only to South Africans, but to the global market at large.
Thank you, Philippa. I can certainly echo those concerns and those hopes. I think the macroeconomic context is what it is, but by whinging about it and not accepting change, you're not going to get anywhere. Organizations like your own have embraced this change, embraced the post-COVID context, and equally, I do believe talent is distributed equally across the world. And in South Africa, we have a youthful population. In Africa, we're going to have the world's largest working and consumer population. So surely that's a great opportunity for all of us. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your continued engagement. I want to encourage all our members and beyond to engage with you. And if you want to know more about Philippa and Recruit My Mom, please reach out to us directly. We'll connect you. And we're very excited about launching you more broadly into South Africa and into the UK going into next year. Philippa, really keep up the good work. Hopefully less nightmares and more hope. And we look forward to a prosperous 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leon, and thank you for the opportunity. It's always good to engage with you. All the best.
Thank you.